We got a almost full meeting here today. Few people haven't made it, but this is a big one, and it's because we have some crazy news. I don't know if you guys have heard. Elon and Trump have parted ways. They are no longer friends. They are actually maybe enemies now, and the markets are freaking out because of it. Just to give a quick recap, Tesla is down over 13% the last time I looked. Donald Trump's DJT, which I have, I hold Tesla. I hold a little bit of DJT call options, long dated. That company was down 10%. People are freaking out. I'm gonna hand it over to you guys. Who wants to take it? What do you guys think? What's going on? Josh, you can jump in here.
Um, this might just be the start of the whole back and forth with Elon and Trump. I mean, Elon owns X. Trump is a big our president. So I feel like this will in the next few days. I think we're gonna get a little bit more back and forth, and we'll see what happens. But hopefully, this is kind of the end of it, and they're just bickering. But yeah, the stocks, crypto, nobody really liked this beef. Um, you know, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens with Tesla and like SpaceX and stuff. I don't know if Trump really wants to go that hard, he'll go hard. And Trump's that type of dude. So I mean, we'll see what he does.
So my take is that a lot of the things with Trump are kind of short lived. They peak, they get really spicy. Let's say that in the least way, but um, I kind of like we were talking about with Dakota, and he brought it up. I kind of did see this coming. Where I say this a lot. You can't have two. I guess like I mean, I don't know if this is a great word, but I guess like alpha males, like
Two
two,
big dogs.
two big dogs. I mean, realistically, Elon, titan of industry, and you have Trump, who's the last 80 some years is just that's been his thing. He's been the top dog. Um, so two of those people, it's a very tumultuous relationship. I was thinking the only way it could possibly work out was maybe in a like a father son type of role. But I don't know if you saw any of the interviews with Elon's dad. I mean, he has so many bad things to say about Elon, which is pretty funny. But I think it's short lived. I think in the long run, Tesla has a good standing, but it's hard to say because I mean, it seems like Elon is not very stable right now. It's coming out that he's just on a cocktail of a bunch of different prescription drugs.
Bro, he's
You
just
know,
out he's just on the loose, bro.
he's
He's
on the
done.
loose. He's on the loose, and there's no one really to reel him in. No one
Trump,
really.
Trump
No one
is the
has.
is railing him in now.
He's yeah. He's trying to. I just don't like it because all the wrong actors, all the bad actors are very happy about this. So, both on the far right and on the left, because, on the left, they're obviously happy. I mean, whenever there's infighting, that obviously allows them to come in and, to have a little bit more leverage. And, you have the far right, the Nick Fuenteses, the Trump haters, the all those people who are also really happy because they think that they think that Trump works for Mossad. So
Yeah.
that's where I stand with that so far. Yeah,
But I think maybe it's possible that it's staged.
it could
They do
be
this on purpose.
Yeah,
Maybe
some people
tomorrow
are
they're gonna be
saying that.
friends.
I
I,
have been seeing that where
that
some people
that is
do think it's
probably
fake.
50-50 because I don't see a world where they handle this like a couple of high schoolers, like yelling at each other online. Like this is what happened in like middle school. You go on Instagram and start going off against someone. Say, oh, when I see you tomorrow at school, listen, they can handle this in 100 different ways with 100 different people with 100 different people like
No, they
mediating
can
this.
call each other. They can just
It's
call
not
each
even
other.
it's not even that. Listen, they can get face to face as easy as I can go to Ben's house. You know what I mean?
It's not the it's
That's
not
not the
the
problem.
Whoa.
I
I
think the
mean, here.
problem
Yeah,
Hold
go
up.
ahead.
I think the problem was that the narrative it was looking really bad. As we all have kind of the same a little bit of the same political ideology. So we weren't really opposed to the world's richest man, helping out in government. But to be clear, when George Soros was doing it, we had a problem. So
Yeah.
the
Well,
optics
here's the
weren't
thing.
great.
Here's the thing. I mean, I put this as, I hope they come out and like, oh, this was all a stage. Everything was made up. I hope that's the case.
No, bet me they're not gonna say it.
No,
Like
of
that's what's
course not
happening.
going to say it.
But
It's
I don't think it's going to be like that. Once you, I feel like the line was crossed with the Epstein thing. Saying that somebody was on the Epstein list
Yeah, that's
because
crazy.
the implication is that you're like a pervert, pedophile, rapist, right? So that's the implication.
but
I think
but
it's
but
And
super,
but
super
and
scary.
and
he was
Elon
already
Musk said
on.
that about Elon Musk said that again about Bill Gates, that he was on the Epstein list recently.
Yeah, but Elon and Gates were all never liked each other. Elon and Trump were like this. I mean, he was the number one guy supporting Trump. He was without Elon, I don't think there would be another Trump presidency.
But can we get this straight? We all love Elon, right? But he didn't even openly support Trump until when? Until after he almost got shot in the head, and not even then. The after um only after Biden stepped down. This is the problem with all these tech giants. They all sit on the fence. They all choose the winning side. This is how they play. It's politics. You understand? If they think that team A is going to win, they're going to agree with team A. And then as soon as the win changes, they're going to go with the win. That's how it
Honestly,
is.
everything was like political and back and forth and like fine. And then I didn't like how Elon said the thing about the Epstein files. Like you didn't have to go that far. Like you really didn't have to do that.
Listen, he could be. I mean, this is what I hope. I mean, first off, I really do think that it could be staged where they're just kind of trying to shift the energy and they're trying to shift the narrative and kind of.
What do we so but like the whole argument started over the big beautiful bill, right? Like
But why would
again,
it be
I
staged,
brought
though?
this point up on the podcast. I think I brought it up here on the Gen Download and here, and like I was saying, like yeah, the bill has a great name. Trump's super excited about it. I don't like the bill. I think the bill offers some good things, right? Like more deportations, some tax cuts, things like that. But
With more deficit, apparently.
more deficit. I mean, but the thing is, all these bills are so inflationary because everybody wants more and more and more and more and more free stuff. And at the end of the day, you have to like stop the free stuff at some point. And if it's going to add a trillion, 2 trillion to the deficit a year, then I don't know if it's really a good bill. And that's kind of what Elon. If you look at what he was saying, that was the big disagreement. So I don't know exactly like how it would be staged or what they're staging to deflect from because the main topic was the big beautiful bill. So maybe they're going personal to deflect from the big beautiful bill, but I just it doesn't make sense to me. And I will say on this argument I agree a little bit more with Elon. I understand what Trump's doing, but the Republicans have the House, they have the presidency, they have the Supreme Court, and they have the Senate, and they should expect and do a lot better than okay, we're going to get some of our things, and the Democrats are going to get some of their things. Because when the Democrats have power, they literally change the rules of the country for the next 20, 40, 100, 200 years. They cross the Rubicon and we never go back to the way things were. 2008, 2012, these are different countries than we have today in terms of the norms. So I really think that you kind of have to put your foot down, and I'm surprised that Trump was such a big proponent of the bill. I don't know. I kind of respect what Elon's doing. I don't respect the public airing of laundry. That I think is extremely immature. I feel like we're watching a bunch of like 14-year-olds. But at the end of the day, you just got some big egos, and they're just gonna be like, going like this.
Or maybe it's done on purpose. Some people are taking a lot of huge profits out of this.
That could be true too. I mean, if I wouldn't put it past anyone to make a lot of money during this turmoil. Just like when Trump goes and says, "Oh, we're gonna do this," and then everyone freaks out, and then there are a couple accounts that know right when to buy. A couple hundred million or $1 billion worth at a time. So that's very much a possibility. But I think that it's a little the market reaction. I mean, listen, market didn't really go down that much. I think that crypto kind of. I mean, what did the market close? Like 0.5% down, 1% down, and in crypto and Bitcoin was down about 5% today. So there's a lot more fear on the crypto side, I would say. And also, I mean, listen, I'm a big proponent of Tesla. I've been actually in this value investment. I've been promoting Tesla. I've been telling it's good, and I got in at a good time. But listen, I took a big hit today. I took like a 15%. Yep, like a 15% hit on the position today.
And maybe it's
So
not over. You don't know what's gonna happen
Yeah, I think-
tomorrow.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
and
what I was
it,
gonna say. I think we see more red tomorrow since the stocks were green this morning.
Yeah.
Like the stocks were rallying this morning before all this happened.
Stocks are
so-
rallying. You know what's funny? I had this bad feeling. I had a bad feeling, and I took some puts. I didn't close out my Apple puts, although they were getting clobbered. I didn't. I entered some like short-term Google puts, and I was like, let me get some more puts because I had this weird feeling that like, man, it's getting almost euphoric again. Like, oh, we're about to go back to all-time highs. The money that disappeared is now reappeared.
No.
Really?
July 8th, everything is gonna drop.
Well,
I'm pretty sure of that.
if everybody thinks it's July 8th, it's not going to be July 8th. It might be July 1st. It might be June 26th, It's not going to be as simple as, oh, the tariff news is it's going to
No, but
it's
now
a-
maybe there's a build up to July 8th. So if things keep dropping nonstop until July 8th, then you're gonna
That
have
would
a minus 30%, minus 40%, something like what
Yeah, that
happened
would
in
be-
April.
Yeah. Well, let's go around the horn. I mean, I don't want to do too many macro predictions. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think we will. I'll say this. We have fundamental issues. If the deficit keeps increasing, the only hope is to really, really, really increase the GDP in a much higher percentage, right? Because the way they measure it always is deficit to GDP. So if deficit and debt to GDP. So if GDP goes up and deficit goes up, they're like, okay, that's fine. If deficit goes up and GDP goes down, it's game over. I still believe you can't have both going up unless one is like, but it doesn't matter. That's macro stuff. For the point of this, there's not much we can do. We're not Elon, we're not Trump. But let's kind of go around the horn. We can start with Sam, and then we can go to Jad and Josh. Just give me one or two stocks, like any particular plays that you're currently looking at that you think are a good value or a good opportunity right now.
I mean, a lot of the plays are kind of a lot of the bags I packed and they've taken off. Meta, I've been in, I was going in, but now it's pushing almost 700. I was adding to the Google position. They've been lagging. They've been underperforming big time compared to everything else right now. And that's really about it. There's not too much value. Of course, adding I always add to Bitcoin every time there's a minus 5% day, I'll add. So that's where I'm sitting right now.
What I'm looking now, I'm looking at oil. I think oil price is low, and there's a company called Canadian Natural Resources, the largest oil company in Canada, and I think it's a good time to buy it, and it's gonna go up significantly in the next years. Especially it's affected by tariffs now and threats against Canada, etc. And it has an amazing yield of 5%.
What's the ticker? What's the stock? The stock ticker?
CNQ.
Yeah. Yeah, I think oil, we've been sleeping on oil. I mean, I'm still bag holding a large amount of Occidental Petroleum because I kind of liked it as a Berkshire play. But yeah, I think oil is kind of a sleeper. We'll have to see what happens with that exactly. That's going to be kind of a question mark. Josh, but it's not bad to be focused on industries.
And also just one thing, it's also Canadian, so it's a stable country, democracy, so it's safer.
We're gonna disagree on it being stable, and we're gonna disagree on it being.
Well, let's say compared to other countries.
Yeah, compared to
like people who invested in Iraq, in Libya, things like that, they got completely wrecked. While Canada, I'd say, is more stable. If no country is stable, Canada is more stable than some other countries. And also, it's the third largest oil reserve in the world, after Saudi Arabia and Venezuela.
That I agree with. Well, what about the U.S.? I think the U.S. is.
It's not reserve, like it's the largest producer of oil, but not among the largest reserves.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. That's a good point. Yeah. I think oil, gas. Those are even coal. I think
And
those are
Are you
interesting
still
ones.
in your
yeah,
Oxy, Ben?
What?
Are you still holding Oxy?
Oh yeah. I haven't sold a dime, baby. I have a f- like 1,000 shares, something like that. Oh, no, no, more. No, like 1,000.
and
Man,
also one thing,
five.
if there's a huge crash, oil is not going to be that affected compared to Bitcoin, compared to Nvidia, compared to all the tech stocks. So
And
it's
we'll have to
gonna
see what happens.
stabilize your portfolio, and maybe you can sell it to take positions into tech stocks or Bitcoin that really crashed hard.
Yeah, the only downside to oil, and I was reading a good Twitter thread about this, and someone was explaining the downsides to every industry, and like they didn't talk about tech because I guess like there's no downsides, but like oil, you can't control the price, you can't control the production. That's the only downside. OPEC
It's
could,
cyclical.
yeah, it's cyclical, and there are big, heavy players that could choose to totally destabilize. But I do think that when people are sleeping on certain industries like oil, like right now, I think that's wise to be looking at. Josh, let's get some of your thoughts over here.
Um, I'm looking at Estee Lauder, Rocket Lab. Um, Started a position in Oscar this morning. We'll add more if we get lower. Looking into Grab and potentially Abercrombie and Fitch. Um, that might be a curveball, but they've been producing really good numbers. I think they're undervalued. Their stock is really not appreciating for what kind of numbers they're doing and the pivots they're making for their companies like Hollister and Abercrombie. And I think we've might have bottomed here, but I think they're potentially a good buy.
Wait a second. Wait a second, Joshy. Look at this guy bringing some crazy stuff onto the radar. Wow,
Yeah,
Abercrombie
you weren't
is
expecting that, huh?
no, because I heard about Abercrombie because it ripped back in like March of last year.
So
Like, wow, what the heck's going on here? And
so
now it fully retraced. It's giving me like Victoria's Secret vibes, and I really like Victoria's Secret.
So
As a
what got me on Abercrombie was I don't know if you guys follow Chris Camillo, but he made a trade because of the whole Abercrombie pivot and the way they pivoted. Maybe if you're familiar with the brand, they had like a moose logo and Abercrombie stapled across the chest, but they made it more like trendy, better clothes. It's really nice now. And they did the same thing with Hollister recently as well. It's no longer like a dark store that you go and shop, and it's not like It doesn't say Hollister anywhere really. I actually went there recently, got a few T-shirts for like $13 a T-shirt, and
really,
the quality is so good. Like I was
is there a
shocked.
logo? Is there a logo on the
No,
shirt?
there's no logos anymore. There's no Hollister
Oh.
logos, nothing. There's like NASCAR tees, like camo stuff. Like
Well,
it's
you have to
very
remember when big logos. We're talking about like 2008, 2000. That was the style. So like the
no,
Ed
that was a
Hardy.
style, but you have to keep in mind
They transition,
they
and
yeah,
that's
they made a huge pivot and props to them. Like people, Aeropostale, they never made that
yeah,
pivot.
Eric Pastel, yeah, bro. Those and that's really the difference because that's see that's what people don't understand. It's like you could have a thriving business, but if you're not looking about 5, 10 years into the future, you're assed out. I mean, look at people who had furniture stores.
Lululemon, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the what's that Israeli brand
Even
with
Gap was even Gap was
the lifestyle. It's like new NIU or something. Um but it's
uh
like girl
Uniqlo.
bro, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but the thing is that any companies that tailor to women right now are also doing a lot cuz like I don't know. I mean, even if you look at the statistics, it's getting to the point where probably women have more disposable income than men now. I mean, I know for a fact that there are more women homeowners in America
Yeah,
than
in big
male
cities,
homeowners.
it's the case. There are studies showing that in big cities, it's the case. Women are making more money and they have more
Yeah,
disposable income.
yeah. So and what we don't understand is like this is another thing. Girls, even if they're high earners, they're not. they're not doing what men do. Oh, let's put away money for here. Let's put away money for no. They don't. They don't think like that. If
It's
they
based
make
on emotions.
yeah, if they make $250,000 a year, they're gonna spend 300. That's just how it. You know what I mean?
No,
That's
but
just how.
okay. But
that's
not
how
all
it
men
is.
are like that though. Like I feel like the average male is there. A lot of people spend. Let's be honest. Like a lot of
No, no.
people spend in.
I think what we're seeing, a lot of people who spend frivolously are people who I wouldn't consider them like poor, but I guess just above it. And they kind of say, well, I'm never going to be able to afford a house. I'm never going to be able to afford the lifestyle that my parents had. So guess what? I'm going to buy the things that I can afford, which are usually, in the $1,000 to the $5,000 range that they can put on a credit card. They're like, you know what? I'm never going to have a house, but I'm going to go to Bali. I never had a house, but I'm gonna go to Greece. I never had a house, but I'm gonna go to fucking I'm gonna go to live every weekend because they have to find, people have to find joy somewhere. So
That's so funny because when I graduated from pharmacy school, there's a friend of mine who just started working, and he told me, "Oh, now I can buy whatever I want. What do you recommend me to buy?" I said, like, buy a Bentley. And he said, no, between $2,000 and $5,000. So exactly, he said exactly that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Hey.
they're not thinking about it. Everyone is kind of living for today, and that's why everybody's chasing the lottery ticket. That's why meme coins are what they are. That's why sports betting is what it is, and not just
Clip
sports
that
betting.
chat. Clip
It's
that chat.
it's parlays. It's just think about this.
Bro,
To
it's
hit
crypto. That's why memes
the
are doing so hot. Because
the
And that's why
odds.
Palantir also is doing so well.
Yeah, Palantir as well.
Yeah.
But
PE 500, though.
that's
It's a lot.
that's that's the thing. So it's everybody's just looking to get rich because they don't think that doing it the traditional way would work, which it won't work. If you listened exactly to what your parents did in America 40 years ago, today you would still be poverty. You can't, oh, well, I worked and my wife stayed at home and we had a house and we had two cars and we had a dog and we had three
my
children.
parents bought a house for 90 grand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
Yeah, and listen, guys, the past is a foreign country. Let's be real.
so
And
we're
that's
living
why-
we're living in a whole new world. So
we're in a
the world
different
that we're
world.
living in today is the world of the haves and the have-nots. So and it's only going to get worse because there's the poor people are going to continuously get poorer and poorer through the money getting devalued, and the rich are going to get richer because
Yeah, yeah.
we don't
That's
keep
why-
our money in cash. We keep it in assets. So if the money's being devalued, then the assets are gonna rise. So a starter home in America is gonna be $1 million in a couple of years. Market, clip that. In a couple of years, $1 million will get you a basic regular schmegular home. Nothing fancy. That's what I think. My opinion.
That's why my largest positions are Ferrari or Hermes, because more and more people are rich and more people are gonna buy it. And whatever happens, any crash, any problems, they'll keep buying those things.
You know what? And that's I saw those numbers that even during recession, even during anything, they will keep up with the Louis V. They'll keep up with the fanciness, even if they're about to get kicked out, they can't pay rent. They'll still keep up because it's all ego and it's all psychological. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, people don't want to. They don't want to embarrass themselves, especially when
Especially with social media.
Bro, you know
Because-
what's so funny? Dakota just texted in the group saying buy Lulu, and we're talking about Abercrombie.
no way.
Did Lulu just have earnings? I have a very
Lulu had a 20% dip, I guess.
wow. Lulu literally keeps going back to this 250-ish level. It's crazy.
Still, I think it's very dangerous long term because no one can tell if long term it's still gonna be relevant in 1 year, in 5 years.
Yeah, I don't think Lulu is like
It has the same attention span as most women, so you don't know what they're.
So
Yeah,
I
you don't know
prefer
what
I
they're-
prefer
welcome
Hermes.
to the Incel Radio. Hey, yo.
Yo.
¿Qué dice? ¿Qué dice?
Take it
But yeah, I
easy.
think Lulu is interesting. I honestly rather own A&F and Victoria's Secret than Lulu,
Yeah,
because
I
those
don't like
businesses are
Lulu at
like
these levels.
undervalued, where Lulu is getting to the point where it's like
I mean,
customer $20.
how long do you think people are gonna pay $150 for some leggings
Forever,
and
forever.
Not long. I don't think. I don't
Depending
think
on
so. I
the
think in a few
depending on
years it's gonna be irrelevant.
depending on if there's another Aloe or another you know, if
but
there's
yeah,
another company just like that, then
it's insane. Oh, it's crazy.
their quality is good and stuff, but it's like, are they willing to
Well,
pivot in the next 5 years? Because that's where fashion goes, right? It's always pivoting.
Yeah.
That's the thing. What was cool a couple of years ago, it's completely out of
Not
style
cool now.
now, and it's.
Yeah.
I remember growing up. If you had Gap, that people would point at you and laugh, and then I
Oh, now it's
remember
cool. Yeah, now it's fine.
now it's cool. Now you have the Gap
Oh,
crew
in
neck.
middle
Oh,
school,
sweet.
I wore mid-calf socks. I got made fun of. Now everyone wears mid-calf socks. So it's
Yeah.
Crazy work.
yeah. So like,
Well, I mean, yeah, fashion evolves. I mean, the companies that do well are the ones that are able to like, stay relevant, and then they're able to evolve with the fashion. But guys, we've been going for a little over a half hour. This has been, or under a half hour.
yeah,
This
we
has
gotta
been
make
awesome.
these like a little longer, Ben, for sure.
Bro, I make them longer. People complain that they're long. I make them
Nah,
short.
bro, it has to be concise, bro. People can't. I'm telling you, nobody's watching long form
You
content.
can't. I'll tell you guys. Anybody listen?
It's-
You can't please
bro,
everybody. You cannot.
I have a
please-
bro. Go listen to Tom Cruise's rant, and you'll realize nobody watches movies anymore, bro. Like it's for
No,
real.
but
No
we
one.
talk about
Yeah,
we talk
because
about some stock picks, and then we're just like, yeah, I'm picking these, and it's like, all right, bye.
Listen,
people have an attention span of 2 minutes maximum
um,
nowadays.
That's why we need a
what's crazy?
clipper, bro. We need a clipper.
You know what's crazy? It's even less because the algorithm promotes, and so for YouTube Shorts, the sweet number is 13 seconds to 30 seconds. That's literally the money. Like 13 seconds, boom, and then they're scrolling, boom, next, next.
Bro, I actually, you know what's crazy? I actually went on TikTok the other day for the first time in like years, and I was on it for 30 minutes because I was trying to look for something, and I didn't even realize I was on 30 minutes. It just went by so fast, and I felt brain dead after.
Bro, you know what's crazy? You know what's a real mind F? Scroll, and then while you're looking at a video, try to remember what was the last video you watched, and you won't be able to remember because it's frying your brain. Like actually, like
Yeah,
it's hitting you with dopamine.
I don't even know what I'm watching.
It's hitting you with dopamine, like because humans crave cheap dopamine. So when you scroll, your brain is acting as if you're completing a task when you're not
a drug,
completing a
bro.
task, and it's literally. I only go on TikTok to post. I never scroll. I only do it for content, and then I let the people just babble. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing. People they won't watch videos about stock analysis, things like that, crypto. So they're they're not gonna they're gonna invest badly in the markets. It's a good thing for people like us
100%. They're
because
gonna invest.
some
We're
Their
the
exit
bull
liquidity.
sharks in
yeah.
the water. We're the big dogs, and we got a lot of minnows running around, and we're gonna eat them
Roof,
up.
roof.
Well, on that note, everybody, this has been another amazing episode. We talk about some serious stuff here. Jad, thanks for joining. Sam, Josh, good to see you guys as always. We'll be here in another week. And if you are interested in connecting with us in person and actually being able to have a discussion like we do in our private group, reach out to me and we'll see if we can let you in. You have to apply, and if you qualify, if you're a heavy hitter, we might let you join. Thanks, everybody. Adios.
Take care.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye.